The New York Yankees have done what I'd always wished a team would do. Like twice over, they've done what I've always wanted a team to do. Right? Like the Yankees first started selling off pieces when there was some question, could we compete? Could we get in the playoffs? Could we not? They sold off all of their parts that were sellable and loaded up with prospects before the trade deadline. Right? Remember when they did that? You're like, wow, that's... And now they waited and waited and waited, but the fear was, and we told you this, based upon the people I talked to in that organization, they're like, hey, look, we know we have to get younger. We know we have to play young players. The problem is that if we get rid of every name guy we have, like when we go around the aisles and ask people to sign back up for season tickets next year, like, what are they signing up for? For guys they don't know. Now, the Sanchez kid came in and hit, like 19 home runs in 42 games or something crazy like that? Gary Sanchez? And so, like, kind of hope sprang eternal a little bit there. But the idea was, like, at some point you got to sell off. And they waited till just the right moment, and they got rid of Andrew Miller. They got rid of Aroldis Chapman. They got rid of Carlos Beltran. Remember, they had Alex Rodriguez retire prematurely so they could free up a roster spot. And that was just part, they just didn't want him around anymore. They just wanted all young guys, all guys that were happy to be there. And damn, if they kind of didn't make a run with the young guys, that was pretty impressive. But the biggest coup is what they were able to do in getting Aroldis Chapman back. Not because they signed Aroldis Chapman to what I think that's the biggest contract a reliever's ever gotten, isn't it? $86 million? Okay, so if you're just joining us, Aroldis Chapman agrees to a contract as a free agent with the New York Yankees. 5 years, $86 million. But the great part about it was they did everything. And Adam, I saw your tweet earlier today, and it was, sometimes we are not in line of what we're thinking. But when you tweeted it, it was exactly what we're thinking. Go ahead, say. You don't have to read it verbatim. What'd you say?
The Yankees did something that I've wished a lot of teams would have done in the past, which is sell off a guy when you're not competing and the guy's an impending free agent, and then re-sign him. You traded him for value, and then you brought him right back.
Pending free agent. Is it impending or pending?
Pending.
Pending free agent? Pending. Exactly.
Impending. Pending means in the process of. Impending means soon to become. But
isn't he a pending free agent? I don't know. It's a. I think you could. I think I could get it in
during the season. He was an impending free agent.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. I love it. Remember, they got a really good shortstop prospect. It's Gleyber, right? Isn't like Gleyber Torres? Gleyber is his first name. I don't know. What do you think? What's the pronunciation on that one? You're going to chicken out on this one. You're going to chicken out too, D-Cell? You're already like 0 for 2 in your history questions. Can you help me out on Gleyber?
Let's go with Gleyber.
Gleyber Torres. And they got Adam Warner, who's a good pitching prospect. And they got some other guys as well. But yeah, like I've never understood why more teams don't do that. Oh, they trade him away. They won't re-sign him. Yes, they will. If you offer him more money than somebody else offers him and he enjoyed his time there, like he's going to come back. And while he's at the door, you just go, hey, dude, we're going to trade you. We want you back. We just want to surround you with better players. Like, that's not that hard to conceive, is it? I love it. It's one of my favorite moves I've ever seen done, or maybe the successive move. Now, look, I don't know if they'll be any good because the truth is I don't really trust their rotation. Right? I'm just not all that thrilled with what the Yankees are doing rotation-wise in order to say that they're going to compete with a team in their division that has 3 Cy Young Award winners. But I do think that the Yankees are going to be prohibitively better, more watchable. And remember, one of the things the Yankees can do is they can just sit tight, not go get any new arms, and absorb the salary of somebody who is an impending free agent. before the trade deadline, right? Like that's one of the things that they've always been able to do. They did the opposite this year where they got rid of those big salaries to take themselves below the tax threshold. But it's not as much about loving Tanaka, Pineda, Eovaldi as my rotation. And now you have a real Betances goes back to the setup man, and you have Aroldis Chapman as your closer. It's not as much about that. It's more the idea of why, if you're not going to win, don't you trade a guy away who's an impending free agent, whisper to him you're going to sign him back, get some prospects, and then bring him back. You're only losing out on him for like a month and a half, though it didn't matter anyway. It's so simple. It's diabolical. Works out.